Good morning. It is February 25th, 2021. Nice to see you again. We're going to talk about hiking gear choices. And this stuff is what you do before you walk out the front door.
What you see here is my spreadsheet for all of my gear. This is not a gear list that is complete. If you can see the yellow highlights, that's what's actually in the pack, and it's reflected by the costs over here in the right column titled In Pack. Down here, which I hope I've made big enough for you to be able to see, are estimated weights in both ounces and pounds, the manufacturer's suggested retail price, what I've actually spent, shipping and tax, the total that I have projected so far, and what I've actually spent so far. So there's a $2 discrepancy, and in reality, in shipping, I've only spent $2.98 for a beanie. So let's get started. The big three. I've already bought my pack, and I've done this in reverse order. They always say pick your tent and or sleeping bag first. I didn't do that because this was purchased on October 4th. I was looking for closeouts and that kind of thing, and I chose a Nature Hike 65 liter. It says 60 liter on the pack, but it says 65 on the listing, so I'm not real sure what's going on there. And I paid $63. The manufacturer's is $79. I paid $63.98 for a total of $71.67 after tax and so forth. Tent / hammock, sorry. I was ready to pull the trigger on a Haven hammock freestanding tent. I thought that was the most bang for my buck. It would be the most useful in the most places and give me a little bit of pleasure and comfort. And in the end, at almost 6 pounds, I decided that was not going to work, and I opted for a tent. A Meyer Ultralight, manufacturer suggested, is $159.99. I have not purchased it yet. You can see it comes in at 2.81, pretty much the same weight as my pack. 3 and 3 is not bad, but then it gets worse. Sleeping pad, the one I've chosen, which is Trekology Ultralight, and it's an inflatable, insulated, full-length pad, or regular length, I should say. Comes in at under 2 pounds, just over 1.5 pounds. But the sleeping bag I chose was the Ubon Extreme, and it comes in higher than either the pack or the tent. So I'm going to have to sacrifice something somewhere. It's most likely going to be a tent, the tent part. Now, this total right now, even though it hasn't been purchased, the total base weight comes in at a whopping 17.83, no food, no water. So I'm going to have to make an adjustment there. Something's going to have to go. We're heading into spring, and I've included in here a 10 by 12 tarp. I'll put a picture up so you can see. It's got tons of tie-out loops, and it can be configured many different ways. So if I zero out, since we're heading into training and shakedown season for me, if I zero that out, my pack weight drops about 3 pounds, almost 3 pounds. And I'm left with the tarp. I'd like to drop it 3 more pounds, and that will depend on what I choose over here. So far, nothing that I've listed here is droppable except for maybe, I haven't included Leuco tape or tenacious tape. I don't anticipate taking rolls, so I haven't added that weight in there. I need to drop 2 pounds, maybe 3, somewhere in here. And what you notice down here under totals, which you can't read, but I'll show it to you anyway, is the solar charger. The 1.5, almost 1.5 pound brick. It's 1.31 pounds. We'll see.
So what's actually in the pack so far that you saw on the far right? Let's just go left to right. And there is somewhat of a 2-layer here. Stanley, 24 ounce altogether, but it's 20 ounce at the fill line. Basic cook pot. There's nothing in here. I took the green tab out on the advice of many hikers and put in a jump ring. I have a mini silicone glove type product that fits a Lodge 6-inch cast iron that should fit right here for heat the stove. I chose a big stove. In fact, let's wait on the stove for a minute. Let's go to my water kit. This is all of my Sawyer, including my extra coupler and between 4 and 6 extra filters. The whole kit right here. It will not stay in the mesh bag. So that's my Sawyer squeeze. It takes care of water filtration, and I may add 1 bottle of Aquamira, maybe not. The conventional wisdom is some kind of smart water bottle, and this is fine, but the plastic on the smart water bottles is not as robust as it used to be. I noticed this when I went looking for bottles. Instead, I may end up carrying this little small bottle. It's only an ounce or 2 less by volume, but the plastic is much more robust. I hope you can see this. Same pressure, and this is more robust. So and the smart water cap fits on this aloe vera product bottle. So that's probably what I'll carry. Now let's go to the stove. I chose a big stove. I know this is not a pocket rocket or MSRB or whatever. This is a big stove. And you'll see why I chose it in a minute. This does not sit on the canister. It sits down on the ground or on a flat surface, on a rock, whatever. Look, that's a big wide base. When you get it all folded out, that's a very wide base, and it's very stable, and it has a big flame circle. So when I put my Stanley, which would be the smallest thing I would ever put on it, the Stanley will fit because it's got a recess here. The Stanley will fit, and it will be no problem. So why did I choose something with all this extra surface area? Wasn't the surface area necessarily that I cared about. It was stability and dual fuel. This, with the adapter, will take a 1-pound Coleman bottle, and without the adapter, it will take a canister. I haven't bought any canisters, so they're not in the demonstration. But this is very stable, and the reason I chose it was dual fuel, but I'm glad I chose it because out of all the people that use little MSRBs or BRSs or pocket rockets or whatever, those little ultralights that, are about this big around, nobody talked about stability. And besides dual fuel options, the stability of the unit was a big concern for me. One person talked about it and said that their stove had fallen over with the small mixed fuel can. That was a big concern to me. I know through painful experience about burns. You don't want to have a serious burn on the trail. You just don't. All right, the next thing that I have here is, this is probably not the pack. It's just a pencil case. It's probably not what the pack will be. It'll probably be something else, but it's just holding this stuff temporarily. So in this front mesh, what I'll have is a pair of gloves, a 3x3 sterile gauze, and much more efficient,
a 4x4. I didn't at the time of packing this up. This has actually been packed for like 5 years. I didn't at the time have any 3x3s, but I did have a 4x4. And I would even suggest you go up to a 6x6 and fold it. Because when you need something to absorb moisture, you want the biggest area for your book. And this, as you can see, folds down to smaller than a 3x3. And then I also just have, regular bandage, some triple antibiotic, and some alcohol wipes. All that folds down to less than the size of the 3x3. That goes in the front, along with one drip drop electrolyte solution. These were on sale, and so I picked up the individual servings as opposed to scooping out my own. This is for emergency use anyway. It is an unopened bottle of any saline solution. This happens to be nasal spray. It was the one that was on sale, but any saline solution, because what you want this for is when somebody gets burned or cut, you want to be able to pull the seal off and irrigate the wound with saline solution. Yes, it's going to sting a little bit, not as much as betadine or iodine or peroxide for sure. But this will wash away dirt because you can squeeze it and put it under pressure. This I learned from an EMT in relation to a serious burn. But that's a story for another day. Then underneath is what goes in the main pocket. I probably will not carry this many electrolyte solution packets in this pocket. It'll probably go in the Stanley or in the food bag. But will go in the main pocket is a BioFreeze, the largest one I can find. Because if I have a sprain, a strain, or a burn, this will help reduce pain by putting it on top of a clean dressing. And you really need that cooling effect for a burn for about 3 days before ibuprofen or whatever pain reliever you have will handle it to tolerability. I have a pair of small bandage scissors. They may or may not stay in this kit. And then, not many people talk about these. These are neoprene ear plugs. A must if you're going to be in a shelter or a shared room or a hostel. I don't anticipate being in those situations on the NCT in Michigan, but you never know. I am debating, this is a Tech Sport waterproof bag, a roll down bag. I keep forgetting that I'm going off camera. And this has, I've had this and never used it. I have 3 of them for like 5, maybe 10 years. So the plastic is not compromised. And what goes in here, because I don't have an appropriate case for it, is a solar panel charger. This may not go with me. It weighs a little over a pound, maybe a pound and a quarter, a pound and a half, and that's a lot of weight. But my old charger is 12 ounces. 15 and some change versus 12. It's a 4-ounce difference. We'll see what the base weight is for my pack when it's all loaded, which one goes with me. I like this idea. It does charge in my window. I've already tested it out, and this charges in my picture window. So I'm not worried in terms of trickle charging and topping off. I'm not worried about this, but I would rather have less weight. Oh, and also, this is a key charger, so I can just drop my phone on it and it will charge. This is not. It's an older model. Tin from that stash of tins will be a fire kit. So what will be in here will be some wax-based soaked cotton. I might cut it with some petroleum jelly, and little makeup pads is what it is. And they fit well in here. I can smash about 6 of them in here, and that'll be emergency tinder in this very light emergency fire kit. And then over here, this is not essential gear, but from the Wander Club, which makes these little charms that you can wear on just a cord bracelet or a cord around your neck or a ball chain or whatever. These are where I've already been in terms of national parks and hiking trails and whitewater rafting and that kind of stuff. So I live in Michigan, as you guys know. I've already been to the Gaspé Peninsula, which is this right here, up in northeastern Quebec. I've already been to the Smokies. This is why I love the Smokies. I've already been there. And then I've also been to both Tennessee and North Carolina, and we camped in North Carolina and we went whitewater rafting in Tennessee. So from the Wander Company, I ordered these little charms as my souvenirs. I decided to go, these all together weigh a couple of grams. And then I bought myself a hiking bracelet. But I didn't buy it, actually. I bought the components to make it. And this is a flat Kumihimo weave. It's very thin waxed cord. I'll probably never make another flat bracelet like this again. But I made it. I put some brass end caps on it and a lobster clasp. I could actually take out all these extra loops right here because this floats on my wrist a little heavily. But I have room to thread these charms on this side, and on this side maybe I'll put a compass on here, just a button compass or something like that. But this is my memorabilia for my trips.
I've been working on this list for over a year, and it involves a lot of study, as our little friend is indicating. There are lots of preparation steps between now and actually doing some shakedown runs. The first goal is to do an overnight at a local campground and test my stove and my stamina and so forth. I want to talk for a minute about the music that you've heard in the background. This is an old Scottish, maybe English hymn that I love very much. And I'm playing it in honor of a man who indirectly influenced me for most of my adult life. It's the father of my sometimes wingman, sometimes partner in crime, and I just want to express my gratitude for the influence he's had on both my friend's life and mine. And now I'll leave you to hear the rest.
I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there, no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.